Hello, friends. Remember the prophet Elisha that we've been talking about for the past few weeks? Well, today's story is another story about him. It's called Elisha and the Kind Woman, Part 1. Elisha was a prophet of God who walked from one place to another, teaching and preaching as he went. One day, as he was walking along a road, an elderly and wealthy woman saw him and called out, "Are you hungry?" "Yes," Elisha replied. "Then come to our house for a meal," she answered. The woman and her husband invited Elisha into their house and gave him a meal. "Thank you," said Elisha. "That was delicious." The woman spoke to her husband. "This man is a holy man of God. He travels all the time and passes by our house quite often." "Yes," replied her husband. "What are you thinking?" "Well," said the woman, "I think we should build an extra room onto our house with a bed, a table, a stool, and a candle. So when Elisha is passing by, he can stay and rest in his own room." "Good idea," her husband agreed. So that is what the couple did for Elisha. An extra room was built and furnished. Every time Elisha passed by on his travels, he could relax in his own room and sleep for the night. Elisha called his servant, Gehazi, and asked him to do something for him. "Gehazi, I want you to ask this kind woman if there is anything I can do for her." Gehazi went off to question the woman. "Elisha wants to know if there's anything he can do to help you," Gehazi asked. "Well, that's very nice of him," the woman replied, "but I am happy with everything I have." Gehazi returned to Elisha and reported, "She thanks you very much, but says there is nothing she needs." Then Gehazi continued, "They don't have any children. I think she would love to have a child of her own." "Please tell her to come to me," said Elisha. Off went Gehazi again, and he brought the kind woman back to Elisha. By the time he had returned with her, God had told Elisha what to say. "In about 1 year from now," Elisha announced, "you will have a baby." The elderly woman could not believe her ears. She was old, too old to have a baby. "I'll have what?" she exclaimed. Elisha smiled as he looked at her. He knew nothing was too hard for the God he loved and served. And sure enough, about a year later, the woman gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. The child brought such happiness to the woman and her husband. All their lives they had wanted a child of their own, and now God had blessed them with a son. It was a miracle. Now, I want you to remember something from this story. Nothing is too hard for God. Even when something seems scary or impossible, God knows just what to do. All we need to do is trust Him to work things out. Here is our verse for the week. Jesus looked at them and said, "With man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible." Matthew 19, verse 26. To find out what happens next in this story, be sure to tune in next week. See you later, friends.